All right, welcome into a new half hour here on Weather Command. Also, the start of a new season, the Atlantic hurricane season, officially beginning today. And for states like Louisiana, that means it's time to prepare for what could be a long season ahead. From Hurricane Katrina in 2005 to Ida in 2021, which is the video you have here in New Orleans, Louisiana has dealt with some of the most destructive hurricanes in modern history.
And particularly susceptible, I think, back to the year 2020 and what a devastating year that was for Louisiana. Joining us is Louisiana Governor Jeff Landry this morning. Governor Landry, thank you for being with us. Obviously, as Marissa just highlighted, no stranger to hurricanes, to named storms. And we are talking preparedness today with it being the first day of hurricane season. So let's talk projects. It's unique about Louisiana because your state has an agency, the CPRA. For people who don't know that, it's the Coastal Protection and Restoration Authority. It's to help build and shore up that Louisiana coastline. You've been busy this offseason. You want to talk about a few of those projects that were completed at the end of last year, even the beginning of this year?
Yeah, look, our CPRA, our Coastal Protection Agency, has been extremely busy. In fact, we've got more projects under design and getting ready to go into construction than in the history of CIPRA. And of course, a lot of that is because we made a decision very early on nationally to levee off the Mississippi River and to ensure that we protected the Mississippi River in its particular coast. That has contributed to a lot of Louisiana's coastal erosion in many other parts of the state. And so Louisiana gets I wouldn't say a fair share, but a minimum share of oil and gas royalties from the federal government and other sources that we can build projects along our coast. And we have been extremely busy. Our staff has been doing a tremendous job. And coastal protection and hurricane protection are basically one and the same. And so when you do coastal restoration, you actually do hurricane protection. And so that's why we've been leaning in and ensuring that those projects actually go into construction and then to completion. So we've been having a great track record.
Well, and Governor, I was looking to see what were some of the latest bulletins coming out of your state, and I came across just a couple of weeks ago, FEMA approved nearly $500 million for Texas, New Mexico, as well as your state, Louisiana. That money is set to help recovery efforts. I think it was around $8.8 million dedicated for Lafourche Parish. This is for some damage that actually occurred during Ida back in 2021, even in the Northeast and New England. Ida is one of those storm names that we'll never forget. Are you satisfied with that money that you're getting from FEMA? As you know, there's been a lot of talk on perhaps FEMA funding issues. Is more needed in your state?
Look, here's what I'll tell you. I'll tell you that under President Trump, FEMA has done an exceptional job of actually taking care of the backlog of projects, such as the one you were talking about in Lafourche Parish. Louisiana did receive about $500 million over the last 18 months of money that is being released that has been in the backlog. I mean, we have had projects that have been in the pipeline since Hurricane Katrina, right? That's almost, 20 years ago, that have just been stuck in the mounds of bureaucracy and paperwork. And I got to tell you, under the Trump administration, under both Secretary Noem and under now Secretary Markwayne Mullin, FEMA is doing an excellent job of getting us those projects so we can build the resiliency that we need on the coast.
Yeah, speaking of the coast, and what a lot of the forecasting as we look ahead to the Atlantic season, expected to be average, if not below average, because of much cooler waters in the Atlantic and whatnot. But you do have to look closer to home because still within these El Nino seasons, you can get these storms to develop out of the Gulf. Mm-hmm. And once you're in the Gulf, there's really only one way to get out, and that's through land, through states like Louisiana. And wanted to ask you also about, the barrier islands. It was Grand Isle, I believe, that was hurt particularly bad with Ida. And so you have your vulnerability, yes, in New Orleans, but what about, as you get further into the shoreline, that's the first line of defense.
Well, that's an absolutely great question. And we certainly are praying that El Nino remains strong and that our hurricane season is not as active as in the past. I will tell you specifically in Grand Isle, again, I'll go back to giving the president and his administration a big shout out because the Corps of Engineers actually approved the rock barrier that we needed to protect Grand Isle, which is one of our most vulnerable barrier islands here in Louisiana. And we got that project approved about 6 months ago, and rock is being placed along that shore. Those islands, again, actually do two things. they build coastal restoration, and they provide hurricane protection. So it's a great example. Maybe when we were hoping to have that project completed before this hurricane season, but we were able to actually get it improved, and by next hurricane season, we'll have the rocks in place.
Yeah, it's it's unfortunately you learn more of these vulnerabilities the more storms you go through, and Katrina and Ida were the two big ones, some of the stronger storms in Louisiana's history. Before we leave, you also want to talk about a newer program for residents for Louisiana homeowners, specifically applying for grants, upgrading and fortifying their roofs ahead of hurricane season. We talk about things you can do ahead of the season. Yeah. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Absolutely. Look, we've been encouraging residents in Louisiana to go, and when they're going to change their roofs out, or if their roof needs to be changed, to engage in a fortified roof program. In fact, we just announced $50 million worth of grants that we're going to be dishing out towards residents who want to take advantage of that grant program. We know that when you implement the certified fortified roof program, insurance rates actually drop. And when you've got a critical mass of homes in a geographical area, insurance rates, property insurance rates actually drop inside of that geographical area. We've seen that success, that program successful in Alabama. Of course, Alabama's coastline is a little smaller than Louisiana's, but we are encouraging our residents to go ahead and get into that particular program. We think it works. We know it works. And on top of that is when they do put a fortified roof on their homes, they will get a steep discount in their property insurance premiums, and that actually pays for the roof. So we've been really trying to get that message out, and I hope people out there that are listening from Louisiana look into it. They can go to our website or the Commission of Insurance websites to see those insurance companies that are providing those steep discounts.
So many things can affect a home, can affect people with a hurricane, because as we've seen so often with Louisiana, notably with New Orleans, that it sits below sea level, Governor, it's the flooding. But with these roofs, you talk about wind energy and the power that these hurricanes can have, especially ones that make landfall. So some important work. We appreciate your time this morning as we head into the next 6 months. Hopefully we won't see much of you because we hope things stay quiet, but appreciate your time this morning. Jeff Landry, Governor of Louisiana, thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you.